We're like, dude, you fucking what? You made 4? He's like, yeah, we wanted to make more, but the budget ran out.
Yeah, that stuff's awesome, dude. I love how they tie. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say I love how they tied it in with the Stargate finale in season 10. But no one cares.
Me and Mark are big Stargate fans.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, we all know.
Actual Stargate fans.
Yeah, well, everyone is a Stargate fan. They just don't know yet.
Series in history.
Yeah.
This is like 3/5 the fan base right here on Deep Fried Pixels tonight.
Like, hey, man. No one talks about it, but it's 17 seasons across 3 shows.
Look, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of
shows too.
I'm a fan of the film, but I could just never get into the TV show because the guy with the Bluetooth implant in his face instead of just wearing a little earpiece.
Dude, Teal'c's awesome.
Teal'c's great, dude.
See, if you said point Teal'c to me in a crowd, I couldn't do it.
You must not be a football fan because he was a star in the Oregon Duck. Do you know that?
And he's also the voice of Kratos.
I'm batting 2 for 2 here.
Yeah, and he was thug number 3 in Batman Dark Knight Returns.
He was what number 3?
He was like a random thug in that movie.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, shit, I'm frozen again.
Yeah, now you're delayed again.
You look great, though.
I know. Well, I mean, I try to look fantastic at all times. But
you have the weirdest fucking problems, dude.
Look, man. Setup. Look. Where do you want me to start?
Just need a webcam and a mic, man. I don't know.
Look? Okay, look. All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, he's old and he's from Alabama. You don't get more anti-technology than that. He's really not.
It's so crazy. He's our own personal Chinese overdub. The words are coming through and the mouth isn't matching up.
Took him years working on that. Years.
So, Brandon, did you get the shot box or whatever it is hooked up?
The what?
I said shot box without even really thinking it through. You got your little the pad where you push the button and make the sound.
I do have. I have a stream box. I have a stream deck.
Stream box, yeah, shot box.
Yeah, I have one of those guys right here.
Is that what you were using to make that beautiful harpsichord noise?
No, it comes with. Since me and Brian are admins, we have access to this. Back, I use this stream deck for lots of stuff. Actually, I use it mostly to launch apps, so I have to click and so.
Is that right?
Yeah, I could do that, and then it can actually do multitasking stuff in here too. You can
He's got 7 Chatterbait streams going on.
Which button? Which button calls your mom to come pick you up?
My mother's dead, Zachary, and you knew that. You knew that going into this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was just bait, man. It was, it was low-hanging fruit. I'm just riding through that orchard.
You're a fruit hunter after all. I saw you in that documentary.
He's definitely a fruit hunter.
Riding through that orchard.
Sucking on those mangoes like they're the last mango you're ever tasting.
Yep, just riding through that orchard in a wagon. Just gee-hoo.
He's a melonaire.
Are we live right now?
Yes, we are.
We're on YouTube right now?
Yeah, we just went ahead and just shot it out of the shot. Yeah, it's the first episode back of the new year. Hey,
this is VFX, guys. Here's a green screen. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really well composited.
I see a little bit of chatter and some webbing around.
No, you should check your edges.
The blue channel's looking fine.
Let's send it for final with caveats, and we'll do any QC.
Hey, BCC that, okay?
In the gauntlets.
Do your wives also try to prove that they know that they could be VFX supervisors?
No.
Mine does all the time. Like, oh, that's a terrible green screen, or look at those car shots, or all the time.
When something's egregious, I'll say something. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Ryan, you're probably used to that though, right?
Oh, she's usually pointing out my mistakes.
If I bring up work talk around my wife, she starts singing like she was working on a railroad somewhere. She starts singing old spirituals and just waits for me to stop.
Just starts making bread dough, looking at you like, you don't know
the trouble I've been in.
She gets into the deep cuts too, man. Just stuff where I'm like, man.
She's always smelling like whiskey.
You know that, yeah.
God damn, Mandt, chill out.
Yeah.
Did everybody have a good Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, not everybody at once. I guess that's a no. Everybody's like, meh.
It's all right. My neighbor.
Meh.
Hey, It came and it went. Am I right?
Hey, Christmas. Hey, Christmas.
My neighbor got drunk and tried to be Santa and come down the chimney, but he got stuck in the trash compactor and lost his dick.
That's all though. That's pretty good. That's successful.
Thought you were going with the Gremlins call out there. Then
Yeah, I was about to say it.
Left turn, you didn't it?
Christmas is Christmas. We're in a new year, 2025, gentlemen. Aren't y'all excited?
You can fit
Not really.
You can fit my Christmas on a 32 gigabyte compact flash card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. You
I have
could.
almost a terabyte of a flash card around here somewhere, and that's just really interesting to me.
Show.
You can put my excitement on a jazz drive.
I got a what are those called? Those zip disc.
Yes.
Was the jazz drive not like the most like unreliable piece of equipment ever made?
Yeah, it was supposed to compete.
I never
with
used one.
It was supposed
I know
to
they
compete
work.
with the. It's supposed to compete with the zip disk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because the
But,
same
like-
people Omega still made. It was the same.
Oh, was it?
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Jazz was just like more of a. They were trying to reach a different.
It was larger.
demographic.
I think it had larger
It was
capacity.
It was just
yeah.
like
It was a
man,
gigabyte, I think.
People aren't going for the zip. Maybe what they need is some new, fresh.
They need some jazz.
A little jazz.
Give them a little jazz.
Shake them up a little bit. I'll tell you what. When you're writing all my data, the last thing I want is jazz.
I want verbatim. Verbatim was always the best name for a disc.
Yeah,
It really was.
yeah. It truly.
They
was.
had the super floppies too.
Uh-huh.
They were the same as a zip disk. Essentially, they could hold 100 megabytes, but they're just normal size floppies.
Yeah. Do you guys ever use like automatic duck and back up your stuff on like a mini TV tape?
Yep.
That's
I did that
crazy.
once.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
No, that's how we backed up the whole studio for a while there on a mini DV.
Yeah.
Backed it up every night. We'd automatic duck and to the DV tape.
I used to back up all my home projects that way. Get a little stack of mini DV tapes.
Uh-huh.
You're like, I put everything on optical.
I didn't know you could do that. I just bought new computers every time a hard drive was full.
Well,
Just
just
whole new
guys.
computers.
Gotta replace it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these files. I don't know how to get them off here.
Where's Walmart? Get another e-machine. Here we go.
I did that one time in a studio. We had a law firm next door, and then we were out there, smoking one day, and they'd put just a stack of computers out next to the trash, and I was just like, huh. Wow. And went and got, a bunch of, back in the day, it was a bunch of Dells, right? Like, so I was, I went home, made my own little farm.
Heck yeah.
A bunch of shitty little Dells. I mean, it worked though. Hey, it was free computers. But you know how people are. They just throw things away. That's
Those guys probably read an article about how they do things in Japan, and they're just like, man, we've been doing it wrong. We're supposed to throw out all our electronics and buy new stuff in the new year.
I'm not trying to die at my desk.
I am.
Don't they have like a national thing that if you die at your desk, like your family gets like a stipend?
Yeah, and Amy Grant plays at the funeral.
Lee Greenwood, he comes in like a
he can't anymore.
Tupac things with well, exactly. Hold on, as a hologram.
Hologram.
It's a hologram.
But is it the Lee Greenwood from like the presidential
88.
campaint, like the latest, right before he passed that version of Lee Greenwood?
No, it's Lee Greenwood in 88 or no 90.
Look,
88.
They need to grab like all the interactions that they had with Lee Greenwood in the last like 3 years of his life and load it all up into an AI and pump that into the hologram. So you get all the weird, crazy, like low key and high key racist stuff that he probably said and just interact with the public on that level.
Well, what do you guys think about, didn't whatever Trump, didn't he name today like Mel Gibson and whoever as ambassadors?
yeah. Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and who was the other guy? The V name.
I love that we never look this shit up. We just
No, we just shoot for this is the court of wild speculation.
No, it was. I mean, it was. Well, look, it was all over X.
Well, and then did you see that CNN got found liable today too?
Of course,
$5 million.
I saw they were up for something, but I figured they were going to get
Who saw that coming? John Voight.
Oh yeah.
No, really? Wait.
Yeah.
John Voight I mean, it's like Trump was like, you know what? What's the worst federal agency that currently exists? Somebody's like the ATF. He's like, all right, so it's got to be 3 completely unrelated people who like just completely 3 different directions. Like we need like alcohol, guns, and cheese.
Yeah, did Alec Baldwin not answer the phone?
Yeah, I was like, does Donald Trump not know that Jim Caviezel exists?
Yeah, right.
Well, he just get him through extension of Mel Gibson, so
Yeah, I guess so, right?
yeah.
I
just can't believe that Rob Schneider got screwed, man.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, he's like a notorious like conservative Trumper, and he got left out.
Oh,
He's every time I see him speaking, like I'll go for a couple minutes on the video, and all I can see is him in like any given Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
well, right. That's what I mean. He's only famous for being in Adam Sandler movies at this point.
Oh well, I mean, The Animal is pretty. He had those 2 movies, right? The Animal and Deuce Bigelow that were pretty big.
Rob
right?
Schneider is a stapler.
Yeah, like he had like a year or 2 where he was known. Year or 2.
It's definitely one of those things where I was just like, man, the celebrity angle for this just needs to stay like out of it, please.
Well,
and everybody's clamoring to know what Mel Gibson has to say about everything.
I think we know what he has to say.
Yeah, I think we've heard it, right?
I like Mel. Mel was a good choice, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
Speaking of Mel, like I didn't check if this was true or not, but I heard that his house was burning down while he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. And he's just hanging out talking like while his house is burning to the ground.
He was at a talk with who was it? It wasn't Joe Rogan. He might have been burning then too, but when he found out, he was telling someone else. There's video of him reaching over saying, "Hey, my house is burning down." Yeah.
Jesus,
Jim Caviezel saving it right now. He's doing his best.
They said Paris Hilton had to learn on TV their house burned down.
Poor Paris.
I want to be that. I want to be like that. Just like so fucking like. Oh, it did.
God,
I'm in the West Wing right now. Should I leave? It's that big.
What do you know?
And that's it. If anybody ever tells me that my house is burning down and I'm on TV while it happens, I'm gonna be like, which one?
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, that one? Oh, that's okay.
Primary or vacation?
It's so hot. It's so hot.
Her voice is completely different too, right? That was all a show.
Oh yeah, no, she's got it. They've got a new show out. My wife used to love their old show. So like, I guess they have a new show because it's been like 25 years since that show.
Yeah, that's right. They struck up something.
Yeah, I think it was like Prime or Netflix or something like that. Yeah, but it's like she totally. Yeah, it's all made up. Like she doesn't really talk like that, but she can turn it on. Like she can still do it.
To answer the question that everybody had, I wonder if Paris Hilton is still retarded.
I think she owns like a lot of businesses and things now. I think she's like actually a pretty smart lady.
Yeah, I was going to say the obvious answer is no, she's not, and never.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Is like she actually thought to come up with that kind of. Now I don't know whether she put out her own sex tape or not, but I will say she's got one of the better celebrity sex tapes.
Hey, one night in Paris. Still in the old spank bake. No.
That one's worth the download.
Hey, you guys still got Kazaa? You guys want to P2P this shit real quick? you when you download shit, it's a mystery what it really was. It was like, all right, I got this MP3 here. What's it going to be? All right.
What's it going to be?
Is it going to be Linkin Park for real this time? Yeah.
Man, Kazaa was like some sort of weird word that translated into English meant reformat your machine.
I forgot all about that. I forgot about Kazaa.
I pulled down some nasty, wild stuff that I swear survived a reformatter too.
I don't doubt that.
Just some stuff that would not go away.
Zach, this motherfucker. Tell him, Zach, how long has it been since you refreshed and did a heart?
It's been since 2017.
God damn, dude. It's going on 10 years. You should try to do it 10 years.
Since you've done what?
Since I've reformatted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're living on the edge, huh?
Dude, I've been hopping from M2 drive to M2 drive, just escaping the fire. There's like a country western song out there somewhere about what I'm doing right now.
I've been almost 6 years.
Standing, what is
The hard ground's burning hot.
Standing inside the fire or something like that. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh yeah, that's a Garth Brooks song.
It's a Garth Brooks song, or is that what's his alter ego?
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines. Yeah.
Standing inside the fire. Yep. Oh lordy. Yeah, it's been officially way too long. But the problem is that every time, you know what I mean, to do at this point, it's like a messed up relationship where I'm like, I can't just XYZ. She's got my CDs, man. You know?
Yeah. What will I do? What will I do without it?
Just like I have so many different like preferences and presets and all this and that saved. And every single time, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
I can't imagine.
I'm just like,
I'm gonna do it this weekend.
I'm like, okay, now I'm straddled across a couple different jobs. I can't do that. I'll screw it up. Like I need a clean break between jobs, and then I need my family to be out of town. So I can sit here like butt naked and drink a beer and do it, you know, like
just fucking wet and naked, fucking bottle of like a 40 ounce here, a bottle of bourbon here, and you're just like, come on, we're doing this baby tonight. Come on.
Yeah, just right. And let the magic happen. But I'm about due to swap out M2 drives again. Just to
Well, no, wait, I don't. You just swap them out. Like you don't add. You don't just keep adding.
Well, I get a bigger M2.
How to
drive
swap it
every
out?
single
Fix
time.
it.
Well, what it does is it makes. It allows you to put a fresh drive that ain't gonna fail on you.
Well, so basically he just swaps them, right? He
transfers your entire system over to the M2 drive. Something you could never do with a hard drive before. By the way, you could clone it, but you still had to, some fuss with the M2 drive. You pull it up, reformat it. To like copy your stuff over and then reformat the little chunk that gives you the extra space, and then you just keep on flying, man. It's like,
this year? This is 2020.
It's a mid-air.
That one. That's a good backup, right there.
It's just mid-air refuels left and right here.
That's
but
awesome.
the beauty of it is that those M2 drives, man, are really like they're inexpensive now, and they're fast. You know what I mean? Like you can just transfer over your boot partition to it, and no sweat. Like you can do that, and it doesn't take long at all to swap that out. Once you got
have you seen those PCIe cards that you can put like 4 or 5 different M2?
I got one.
That's what you used. Yep. Those are awesome. I want to get some of those.
Yeah, I got one of those, and then I got a little docking station that actually copies it. So I just I pull out, like shut the computer off, pull out the M2 out of there, and put the new one in.
Shit.
Pop them both in, hit a button.
Dude, it's like hacker shit right there.
Rips it.
You turn on the lights and turn on some green lights, and you're like,
right over. Yep. Just pour some baby over my head, put my Indian.
Get all diddied up.
Chef, I got a chief Indian feather headdress that I wear.
You are native.
Well, it's fake eagle feathers. You can't. There's no way he's been given that many eagle feathers. You can't be quite that revered, huh?
Well, I'm not going to give away the secrets to it, but I'll say this: I am 1/16 Elizabeth Warren.
That's funny.
That really is, isn't it?
That's some good times. Good times.
Not to blow up your 23andMe, Brandon, but you're waiting on some results, ain't you?
Yeah, actually. So a real true story. My sister found out that we are related to this Indian chief called Dragging Canoe. And
sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your heritage. My apologies.
The first transgender Indian chief named after.
This one, he's a pretty famous, I guess. Canoe. Yeah, Dragging Canoe. He was an Indian in drag. Let me. But no, so yeah, we were like a birth certificate away from getting a roll number now.
Wow. You're gonna get that check, get that reparation.
Brandon's gonna get
it. Where are you gonna move on to a?
Once we get that roll number, we're gonna be moving to Oklahoma.
Straight up. Can you move on to a reservation then if you get a number? Like where? It have to be a certain one.
Is that? Yeah.
Boy, I'm gonna brag so hard if that happens.
Let me see,
I'm gonna go
Do they have a casino?
I got a friend who's an endangered species.
If they got a casino, go move on the reservation. You get them casino checks. I think a casino check and some meth come in the mail every month.
So.
Oh wow, that means you own a little piece of Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, because his daughter, we found out his daughter is our great whatever grandmother. But yeah, because we found it through the articles of the Confederacy, the Sisters of Confederacy or something, I think it's called.
Wow.
Because all our family was in the fucking Civil War apparently too. So,
you look like you would have been in the Civil War.
Dude, one of our great grandfathers was 14 when he joined.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it was a child soldiers. That was soldiers.
He got the call in the middle of the night. Said they're doing what? They want to let who? Not out. Let's march.
Not on my watch.
They're traitors in my book, though.
I just like to. Sorry, I don't want to distract me, but I just like to take a second to endorse these delicious Pro Pleco wafers.
Oh, they're the pro version. You got the pro model.
What are Pleco wafers?
And what makes them the professional model?
If you got a fish tank with a plecostomus in there, you're supposed to feed them to them. But I tasted them, and I can't keep the damn things out of my mouth.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
They're like if you mix pistachios with dog shit.
I think that's a TikTok trend, isn't
nutty. TikTok's about to go bye-bye.
Oh, like this weekend, isn't it?
Is that going to happen? I never got a TikTok account, never installed it on my phone.
Yeah,
Brandon sends TikToks to us all the time, and I can't watch a damn one.
Well, I got off of it, so
I think it's a little confusing because like everything that comes out on Instagram or YouTube Shorts or TikTok, people take them, put them on the other platform, and you just see the same shit. So I feel like on Instagram, like I swipe a lot. It's just the same thing on YouTube, and then the same thing my friends send me on TikTok. So I don't see it making a difference in my life if TikTok's there or not. I still got to see the content.
There's a lot of devastated soccer moms on the Today Show pissed off about it.
All of them are moving to Little Red Book too now. The Chinese
What the hell is the Little Red Book?
And dude, all the comments are like black people jumping on there. Some of the Chinese people are just going, "Hi, N-word." Oh, hello, N-word.
Oh my god!
And like people, like gay people, will come on there and they'll just say, "Hey," and they'll be like, you don't talk about this shit here. We don't want none of this gay crap here."
Really? I didn't know what Little Red Book was, but it makes more sense because I saw a comment
was the
tonight.
Mal's Little Red Book.
I see. Okay, I didn't know. I saw a comment tonight on social media. It was it was a Chinese lady saying like, "White people stay away from Little Red Book, like you suck." And I was like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" I was like, "I have no idea what that is." Now I put it together. Okay, there's
it makes sense.
It's like, why are they going after your red book? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to stick with my YouTube Shorts where I just look at
that's where
military, aviation, and tech all the time, constantly.
Yeah, I get a lot of sports, and just random shit, movie stuff.
I get a lot of restorations of things. I love watching restorations of things, rusty things, like maybe an old toy. They sandblast it and restore it. I love that.
You're just jerking off to it the whole time.
Every day, all day.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that about Little Red Book because now that stuff is changing and shutting down, I was kind of a little worried on where I was going to get all my overtly racist content.
Dude, it's crazy. Like I was watching some videos. On
Zach, you can just sign up for a Nextdoor account.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Dude, Nextdoor.
I couldn't handle Nextdoor.
Do not shoot off a firework. Nextdoor will just go insane.
Dude, the amount of posts I see that's like, I don't mean to be racist, but, and I'm just like, it's like, who gave all these old people access to social media? Like, this way, it's like,
here comes a Whopper.
Yeah.
Oh God, what I can't remember. Chris had a hilarious name for it. Can't remember. It's like, it's like the only platform for Democrats to be racist on. It's like Nextdoor.com.
Oh man!
Oh, it's so people get so bent out of shape on there about just the craziest stuff. I can't.
Of course, man.
I can't, but I also love it.
That kind of stuff is amazing.
Listen, when you live in a neighborhood, honestly, you need a few of those Karens.
Yeah.
Keep shit straight.
Right. absolutely.
And I like Nextdoor because Nextdoor, you know exactly where they live.
I get a lot of that from like out here in general, like going to the parks and stuff. There's always like the old, like the grandparents that are there with their kids, and I emit a chemical that speaks to like homeless people and old crusty angry grandpas. They're like, they belly up, you know what I mean? They slide right up to me and they're like, "Hey, you see this over here? You getting a load of this?" And I'm just like, "Oh boy, here it comes." Oh, grandpa's, you know, first up is this. Next up is to talk about a Colt 1911 he's got in his trousers.
He's like, I don't want to have a safety on that thing.
It only goes, he only goes to the few. The hammercock. It's the only way.
Yes, listen, you're a pussy if you don't do. Look at this. Like you see his dick at the same time.
Yeah,
40. He just has it out the entire time. What are you talking about?
Colt, on the left is my cock.
The entire time he's been talking to you, it's been out.
Yeah. It's like 40 caliber. Fuck 45, man. 40 is the Lord's caliber. And I tell you what, in COVID when everybody's buying everything, all you could get was 40. Boy, I was happier to pig and shit. Let me tell you what.
He's like, listen, have you seen these UV bullets? You got them for vampires.
Everything was fine before Obama. And it's always like, yeah, man. These guys all have like a script. Like you can just. Like I can tell what's been said on Fox News by just walking through the park. I just glob on, and I'm like, okay, those are the headlines this week.
That's pretty funny. How do you know the news? I just walk through the local park.
And all the grandpas.
I guess Sean Hannity said something stupid tonight. That's what Bill said. So.
Right, we just glob on like birds. And then then I log on and get onto Reddit to get the other.
He just runs into the park and yells economy, and then he just gets it from all directions. It's like throwing bread in the air.
Right. Yeah. And I go on to Reddit and I get to hear all the people crying about those guys in the park.
No, Nextdoor is a very bold platform to be kind of shitty to people on because the people you can see exactly where the person lives.
Right. Well, that's why I never got an account on there.
Yeah,
I've got an account on there because I want to know where those people live.
Well, no, you guys. So Nextdoor, actually, I do use it for one purpose. It's really good. Is if you have any work around the house or anything, like there's a lot of young college kids who will like kick ass. Like there's always kids coming home from college in the summer. They're like looking for work, you know, like $20 an hour, and like I bring them over to my house, have them like do a whole bunch of work on it.
Some like crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, here you go, guys. They just like do work and go home. I'm like, sweet. Like,
what's the craziest thing you've asked them to do?
Oh, I mean, nothing like terrible. I had a guy
why
like
not?
bury my dog. I ran a dog, one of those fences all around my house, you know, like the shock collar fence, in-ground fence. I ran it all throughout the thing, but no.
I'm happy where that's going to bury my dog. I thought you were just nonchalantly throw out there, bury my dog.
Trust me, I wish I could bury my dog, but my kids would be sad. But no, I don't know.
He's not a dog person. No.
What's the craziest thing? Oh, nothing really big. Just bury my dog.
Yeah, but I had to, I had to make a little bury the fence over.
Dude, that's not easy, especially in Georgia. That damn Georgia clay, no joke.
Absolutely, I didn't want to do it, dude. It's terrible. Yeah, but rock and roll. So pretty great.
That is hey, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the tree cutting. I haven't been bold enough to have him do that, but I think this summer I'm gonna give him a Ryobi chainsaw. hand of the warranty. Like, all right, bud. Go ham.
Dude, you should see how some of this. Whenever I lived in Atlanta, they had those tree services come and like cut a bunch of trees from the person's backyard or whatever and all around. But they had a zip line up in a tree that went all the way down to the back of the truck, and they were cutting them out of the tree and just zipping them down in the back. I thought it was the craziest situation I'd ever seen. Like, these people are insane.
Yeah. It was cool when they did one in my yard. They went up both trees and they attached the pieces they were cutting to the other tree, so they cut it off and come down and swing on the other tree, and then they lowered it down. It's pretty cool. Dude,
those guys have balls, man. Like they really do. Because
I mean, it was a ghetto operation. My other tree died very shortly after that because it was getting slammed in by other trunks. So, but it was
and those dudes are moving, man. Those dudes work their asses off too.
Yeah. Hey, every tree is money. Every tree is money.
That's like every storm. Every time there's a storm that comes through, like for the next 3 days after the storm, people are completely getting an entire new roof next to me. And it takes like 1 day now to get an entire new roof.
That's not a good thing necessarily.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's interesting. A day for a roof.
They're missing. Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends.
When you got 27 people on the roof,
yeah, you get a crew. You get a good enough crew up there that knows what to do.
So
but there's no way they're getting all the nails and everything.
It's nice to know that Harbor Freight has expanded to roofs. So
we got some crazy arborists out here. There's always some sort of hubbub going on. But we got like our neighbors have a tree in their backyard that I want them to cut down, because every time it gets windy or cold, like a chunk of it falls out, like while the kids are playing in the yard, and it's like a big enough branch to like just cream the kids. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell the neighbors, the lady that lived there before too. I'm just like, hey, we'll have the cost with you if you want to take this thing down, because it's sooner or later it's gonna happen, and then it's gonna be real bad. And every time an arborist comes out, he's just like, well, this tree is beautiful. It'd be such a shame to have to cut it. And I'm like, whose side are you on, man?
Yeah, like, don't you want to make a paycheck?
Yeah, that's the opposite of the ones out here. They like solicit my door multiple times in the summer, like, oh, these are going to kill your kids. You got to take these out. I'm like,
yeah, right. We'll cut your house down, too.
No, dude, like the pine trees in the South are no joke, though. But like systematically, my dad removed every pine tree out of our yard over the course of like the history of his house. To where it's been, he fought pine trees for years. That it made me have a phobia about it. That like when we moved into our place in Atlanta, there were so many like gigantic old growth pine trees. Anytime a big storm would come through, man, like I used to get super sketched out about it.
Yeah,
because those summits will just snap.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we get windstorms that come through here every few years, and it'll tip trees over and pull up all the roots in people's yards and stuff. Like, it is gnarly.
Yep. Pine trees.
Well, that's the things about the Georgia pines is they're not the root system. They grow so fast. The root systems aren't near as big as they are tall.
Right.
So they just boom.
It's out of crap trees.
Now a lot of trees though, the root systems are in the surface anyways, right?
Yeah.
So,
I was trying to look up actually like trees to plant in my backyard because basically there used to be a lot of trees. Some ding dong cut a lot of them down, so now they're just falling down one at a time every couple months because they have no protection. There's no canopy protection. So I was seeing if they can get an old Sitka spruce sprouting up back there, but I don't know if it'll work.
You get you some dogwoods, man. Dogwoods and crepe myrtles will work great.
I want a sassafras tree.
What?
Get you some.
A sassafras tree. You can dig up the roots and chew on them. They taste like root beer.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's why the root beers, man.
Colonial Americans used to use the roots to actually brush their teeth.
That's why George Washington had wooden teeth.
Yeah, well, part of. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I would say that's why he had wooden teeth.
I'm an expert. It's why.
It's why.
Quote in his memoirs. That damn root beer.
It made him crazy enough to go across the Delaware.
All worked up on root beer.
To kill everybody in their sleep on Christmas.
Yeah. What a fucking maniac, right?
Over a
fucking just wooden choppers.
Some guy's got like bite marks, just like a wooden tooth left behind.
Just a fucking savage.
I mean... it's been
just
said,
all coked up.
His face ended up on the money by force at the end.
Can he switch them out and get sharpened ones for like when he's really angry?
Totally, he had killer teeth.
He just feasts upon their bodies. He's like, Jesus, George, what are you doing? He's like, that's how I get their power.
I'm a Democrat.
When you're a 37th level Freemason, you can talk to me. Until then, sit down, shut up, and enjoy the ride. It's cold. I didn't want to go. I did not go across the Delaware, and he just shoves him in the water.
Jefferson says that he's like, fuck Jefferson. He's a fat.
Just Derrick Henry's him right in the Delaware.
Swim back to England, you Nancy.
I want to get a T-shirt that says something like, "Hey British, don't tax my tea," just like because I don't know.
That'll show them.
That would show them.
Dude, Brandon, I think I was telling you when I saw you in Vegas or not. I can't remember, but so I went to Walmart sometimes and buy these cheap shirts, and I wear them for a while, right? And like they're always saying something like, home with the free because of the brave, or like, there's general like patriotic support the troops shirts. And I just wear them around. No one ever says anything. It's normal Walmart shirts.
Yeah.
So I go to Santa Bar for Christmas, hang out with my brother, right? I'm out for one day wearing one with my family, my kids, like first person, like hanging out, like, hey man, I'm like, hey, what's a nice shirt? And I'm like, thank you, okay. 3 or 4 people later, like a whole family, like, hey, nice shirt, hey, nice shirt. And I'm like, why, Deborah, why are these people? And she goes, it's because they think you're a huge Trump supporter. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, it's incognito. Like, oh yeah, Trump. Yeah. And I'm like, it's just a patriotic shirt. What is up with this place? Yeah. And they were all like super clandestine. Like they looked around like, hey, nice shirt.
like you're in on the secret club.
Yeah. I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
hey, California has the biggest Republican base in the U.S.
It's nice to know that we're not the only ones.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I was like, they were like, they didn't want to get attacked in the street. They're like, you know, for a second, I was like, do they just love Walmart? And like, is that what's going on here? Like,
I just love no fear shirts.
It's no secret that I love America. But,
carry it in your bucket protector.
My neighbors across the street hung up one of the big the trans flag things on the front of their house, like a big huge one. And I put up an American flag, and then they just stopped talking to me.
Yeah, because dude, like, that's what's crazy is people think like, that if you love your country, you're a Nazi.
I was just
they've kind of villainized it now, you know, like you can't wear a patriotic shirt around and not be part of like January 6th.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, look,
stupid.
I was like, well, you know, that's fine. I'll just sit over here and genocide you from here then.
Funny enough, I actually think about that, right?
Some disease blankets for you.
I have to actually think about that, right? Or at least I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm fear-mongered. But the other day, like I threw on a shirt, and I don't remember where I was going, but it was very much a public place and like a public venue. Like I went to, where was it? We went some kind of park or something. I don't remember what it was, but I had on I've got an Uncle Sam shirt that just has him like pointing, and it just says boop. Boop. But it's a blue shirt. Yeah, it's a blue shirt, and it has no political affiliation on it, but it kind of is Democrat blue, I guess. I didn't buy it for that.
I think
reason.
You're getting pretty meta. I don't think most people are going to pick up on that.
I don't know though. So therefore, I was like, you know what? I'm not like trying to make any statements.
Brian's like, you think they're going to know I used to follow fish around if I wear this color?
It's my 4th of July shirt.
You think they'll figure that out?
It's my 4th of July shirt.
Yeah. Zach, my neighborhood's the opposite. So I tried to I hung a NWO, like, you know, flag from WCW at my house, right?
Oh.
HOA instantly threatens to fine me. They're like, New World Order. And I'm like, hold on. It's a sports flag. Like, no, it's not. So I took it down, put the American flag up. They're like, all right, good boy. You know, waited a month, went and hung the Jolly Roger outside recently, flying it. Now, it's been a month. They haven't said shit. I'm just waiting for them to say something. I'm going to claim it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Be like, nah, screw y'all. I can fly sports flags.
Dude, I totally put for the political season. I put I may have sent you a picture of it, Mark, but I put a sign in my front yard that said presidents are temporary, Wu-Tang is forever. Yes. You know, and like I assumed they were going to tell me to take it out of my yard any day, right? Like we were on like a kind of betting how many days it was there. They never asked me to take it down. It actually, the president, you know, we voted for the president and everything, and then I ended up just taking it down myself. No one said a word. But what was funny is when we were doing Halloween and we're giving out candy, how many dads were walking about and going like, whoop, whoop.
That was...
People were like taking selfies with the sign and stuff. I thought it was funny.
That's pretty good.
My buddy lives in Pittsburgh. We had him on the podcast early on, and he was saying that for Halloween, no matter what the signs were in the front yard.
Oh, Scott.
Like, yeah, no matter what the signs were in the front yard, he'd be like, "At least you got the right signs up in the yard," and they'd give him extra candy at every one of those houses. He's just like, no matter what the sign was, I was like, that's the true spirit of Halloween.
Oh my gosh!
Right there, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've decided I want to make some really, really ridiculous signs for the next political cycle, like 4 years again, you know, from now, and just make stuff like anti-broccoli signs.
You're gonna have the what's the dude that's like the Church of the Giant Spaghetti Monster? You're gonna be like that. You're gonna have the boot on your head. And...
no, yeah, Vermin Supreme. No, I just like think like just a picture of a TV remote. And like a veto sign through it,
dude. So
just crazy non sequitur stuff.
Zach, I've done that.
Like, you don't know,
yeah. Dude. I've done that, and it's hilarious. So in our town, right, there's like one spot in front of the post office that protesters would always go. It's just where they let them stand, right? Yeah. And so they'd always stand there with their signs. So one day I made this giant sign that said, "Stop the genocide of the kiwi bird." And I drew like a little kiwi bird on it in Australia. And I stood there for like 6 hours. And people are stopping by like, what is this about? And I'm like, kiwi bird, just a nocturnal animal. Helpless creature getting slaughtered in masses in Australia. And I was giving them these whole pitches. They're like, it's terrible. I'm like, yeah, tell your friends. And I had no reason to do it other than I could tell the story years later. It's so ridiculous.
This is the payoff of that.
They brought all of it up. They're like, oh man, I'm gonna look at this.
That's great. I wonder how many people drove by and were like, I really should be out somewhere protesting something.
Yeah. I need to get out of there. He's getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God you got out of Alaska. As a young child, you sit around, and that's what they came up with. I think I'm going to make a fake protest today and stand out in the snow to protect the kiwi bird. That's awesome, though. I love it. I love the dedication.
Beautiful creature.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think I love that how prevalent your father was in the community too. So like, I can't imagine how he was just like, "That's my boy."
Yeah, he has to lie. He's like, yeah, it's a terrible thing going on.
He just has to go along with it. Exactly.
Yeah, he found out what they were doing to him, and that was all it took. He's just been on that ever since.
Him and his mother.
He's like, we think he might be autistic. Like,
wings or not, he loves them birds, man.
He loves them birds.
All right, let's get serious. How do we get Trump to tariff VFX to get all the work back in America?
That's what he's talking about doing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's my buddy Dave Rand actually has been writing Trump for the past probably 8 years, and one of the I guess his team contacted him this past week, and because he was actually going to go to court and get the whole tariff thing situated. He talked to lawyers and talked about tariffing VFX since the strikes, essentially, because he was like, that's the only way you're going to stop it, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe he said he had some sort of pool of help on that. So I don't know.
I had an epiphany just now. You mentioned it. Brandon Ketchel made that Kid Rock song video.
American Badass.
You remember that?
Oh,
the American Badass video, and Trump, Brandon was like, "Notice me, senpai," and Trump was like, "I see you."
Dude, he pinned it to the top of his Twitter when it came out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So if we could get Brandon,
what did he do?
Oh shit.
Brian, we showed you this video. We showed it to you. Brandon cut 2 full, like 3 or 5 minute length, like basically like WWF like promos of Kid Rock playing. And Brandon's a pretty good editor and edits of Trump like walking around. And he put it on Twitter. So what happened was someone he got views on it, right? But people obviously shared it on their profiles. And the one that went viral was someone else sharing his video. But Trump pinned it to the top of his Twitter. The problem is Brandon doesn't have that Twitter anymore because Twitter thought he was a Russian bot and banned him. So unfortunately, he lost the traction on his followers.
Oh.
Brandon should sue Jack Dorsey for that.
I got beef with Brandon, okay? He pissed me off yesterday. So he let us borrow his camera to shoot our film, right? Just because he's a good guy, free of charge. I bought him a present. Check this out.
What'd you get?
I went to the biggest truck stop in America in Iowa, and I got him this cool little alien creature made out of metal. Awesome. And he goes, yeah, that's cool. And I go, yeah, I bought it for you to say thank you. And he goes, yeah, you can keep it. I don't got room for it. I'm like, what?
That's such a
fucked up.
That is dickish.
Because he has like, I did. I said, you got that big old ugly house he has built, and you can't put this on your damn wall. Of course, he's got his big nerd room, so he doesn't have room for it. But I'm just saying, the tail fell off.
Did it just fall apart?
Okay, look, like I said, I bought it at the biggest truck stop in America. I said.
I was literally saying
he's falling off of it. Was just the kiss of that entire
You don't want this? You don't want this?
I braved an Iowegian truck stop to bring this to you. It's like falling apart.
Oh my God.
I fucked a lot to get this thing. Come on,
dude. Okay, that truck stop. What else happened there is, so I'm there.
Here we go.
Oh,
was
I'm
this
there.
the Buc-ee's?
Yeah,
Buc-ee's?
no, dude, this is not Buc-ee's, man. It's wild. So we're there, and this one of those guys. We're with Chris and David, and we're in the parking lot. We got this big old 600mm lens, taking pictures, and this giant truck rolls up, and it's one of those guys where he's got double Vance Trump flags flying in the back, entire truck's covered in stickers like fuck BlackRock, all this stuff, and the guy's just kind of staring at us, and we're he's probably thinking couple of floozies taking pictures of those artists out there. So the guy rolls up to us when we're about to leave, and it's this old guy, and he's like, "Hey boys," and we're like, "Hello, sir." We're from Alaska. We're not scared. We're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" And he immediately launches into "You guys up here from Atlanta, huh?" We're like, "Yeah." And it was during the floods, and he goes, Are you guys okay from the floods?" We're like, "Oh yeah, we're fine." And then he goes, "So they're putting stuff in the air to make it rain, that caused the floods." And we're like, "Oh, it's one of those conversations." So we're like, "Oh," so we talked to this dude for conspiracies for about 10 minutes, and then he doesn't know we're from Alaska, and he goes, "You guys heard of the HARP project?" And we're like, "Yeah, we've heard of the HARP project." He's like, "I saw it on the deep internet." And we're like, "Oh yeah, tell us all about it." He's like, "Weather control, this and that." And I couldn't help myself. We're like, "Well, the rumors in Alaska where we're from is mind control." And he goes, "Oh," you see him just get energized. And we're like, "Have a good day, sir." And then he goes, "Keep it red, white, and blue. Watch your six, boys." Takes off his truck.
That's amazing.
Man, it was fucking good.
You encountered an info warrior.
That might have been my brother, by the way. Because he's a trucker, and so it might have been him.
Yeah, I will say I stole that. I've been telling people keep it red, white, and blue, boys. It's it's great.
That's
never heard it before.
That's pretty good.
Say that too now.
I gotta say that people like that make me just go all wiry and wiggly, because there's once they get you, no matter where you are, if you're out in the open, they got you cornered. You can't disagree with them, but you can't agree with them.
Right.
And you can't stop talking to them
because they won't. If you're "Oh, I know," they're like, no, listen, I got
you have no idea.
They're
you got some free time.
They're gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you what they pulled up off of the who knows what.
Kaza. I got this on Kaza.
I'm just I need to see the receipts, man. I need to see the aggregation of the websites. You need your hard drive checked if we're going to have this conversation.
I brought just the thing. I got my M2 done.
Reformat.
I need you to look into the light here for me, quick.
Can I just plug this in real quick? Okay, good.
That's why when I'm talking to people like that, I constantly pull out my phone and just hold it up here or do something weird with my phone. And it seems to end some of those conversations quicker than not.
Zach, you strike me as the kind of guy that has one of those big red buttons that you can just hit and all your hard drives burst into flames.
No, I was gonna do that with a Staples Easy button at one point. But instead I've just got the swing line stapler there.
That's nice.
Tear through this room with the swing line stapler. No, I have. You know what, man? I go back and forth between squirming about what if somebody's blah 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 this or that, and I'm just you know what? I'm nothing. I'm just some guy that reads stuff on the internet.
That's what I'm saying.
If there was a big offensive, I would think that I would be a stop on somebody's list, but I'm not
I just think I feel sorry for the poor bastard who's tracking my every movement.
Right. Yeah. It's a rodeo for whoever's assigned to me.
Yeah.
It's a grand time for anybody tracking my movement.
Since that person started to be following me, they have started listening to different music. They've been exposed to a whole new crazy world that they never knew before, probably, or maybe not. You know what I mean?
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Someone following me, they'd be like, "We got a target. What's he doing? He's listening to the Wicked soundtrack again."
Shopping for socks. He's shopping for socks.
I just don't understand how this guy can sing off key to Taylor Swift, turn around, get on Stormfront, and blame Taylor Swift on the Jews. It just doesn't make any sense.
We might be after the wrong guy, boys.
They followed me around for 2 days, and they're like, "Yeah, this is
not the guy we're looking for.
This is not a hot lead."
Bill, I think you were wrong.
And I mean, good luck, man. Like, go through my hard drive, fine. Go for it. Although I will say, man, I have come across other hard drives that have had the delight of pillaging through and looking like, somebody got to get a hold of somebody else's laptop, like that got fired from work, and they got their personal laptop, and the boss is like, here, you got to reformat this, and I'm like, right after I take a deep dive and see the gnarly stuff that people keep on like work laptops, and I'm like, who does this?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's just bonkers, man. I don't even keep anything like that on my personal machine. Like, what are you doing,
dude?
Man?
I saw an On Patrol live the other night that it was like this old guy, and this guy had called the police because his neighbor came over and wanted him to destroy his laptop. And I guess he didn't understand why, or he wanted him to remove some programs on his laptop. And he didn't understand why. And he looked on his laptop and said there were some folders that had some things in it that he didn't, it was like some child porn stuff or something, right? Like, and so he was just like, he immediately shut it, told him to get him out of his house, this, that, and the other, and whatever. And then he called the cops. And so he's telling the guy, and so they go to find the guy, and the guy was burning his laptop in the backyard. And it was just, it was so funny. Listen to this old guy try to explain how he didn't understand how the porn got on his computer when it was his wife standing there, and then, but also trying to explain why he was holding a gas can and burning his laptop, his perfectly good laptop that he'd had for like 6 months, and his wife had just come home from work because the other guy also called the wife. It was this whole thing, and he's just standing there like, well, it had a program on it that I. It's like, so you burned.
It all started with some dancing girl in her underpants on my desktop, and the next thing I know, my whole machine, I swear, it was like a nudist.
I thought I was downloading the Chumbawamba, baby.
Every time.
Have you guys heard the story about apparently how they caught the BTK killer? Yeah, it's crazy. Like he like apparently.
Oh, like recently?
No, well, they caught him years ago, but he apparently
that's what I thought.
He was gone for years off the, and he apparently messaged the cops because he'd like to screw with them, and he's like, if I want to show you something, I'm the BTK killer. If I erase a disk drive, is there any way you can find stuff on it after? And the police are like, no. And so he like erased it and then like sent it to them, like screw with them, and they just like went and found the old files.
No
oh my God, really? I didn't even know that.
Back to his church.
Yeah,
he was Yeah.
Wow.
He wouldn't have got caught neither. There's no way he would have gotten caught.
That's crazy. Why are people so stupid? I think people like that.
Oh no, that's not a tragedy, Brian. That's a good thing.
That was no, absolutely. But I mean, like, I think people like that want to get caught, right? Like, there's no way, like, you can stay on the lam that long and then do something that stupid.
Yeah. Just like bored one day, you're like, I got away with it for 25 years. I'm gonna fuck with the police about this.
Let's see if I can get caught.
Let's see.
Right.
Let's see what
nobody
can do
knows.
here.
Nobody has any lead on me whatsoever. I think I'll raise my head 25 years later.
Let's get crazy, guys.
You know what? It would be a good thrill if I roofied myself in jail.
I've never been to prison. I always kind of wanted to. I figured.
I hear it's like a community.
I should go. I feel like I'd do well there.
I feel like I think well there.
This is a spot for me.
That sounds like some Cousin Eddie shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Club Fed, here I come.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, they have that Martha Stewart prison was up there by where my wife's family has land and whatever in West Virginia, and it's just you just drive up to it. There's no fences or gates or it's got its own little golf course and all kind of I guess they can come and go as they want.
Man,
it's kind of weird.
Sounds like a real slammer.
Yeah,
sounds like just government housing.
Yeah, essentially it is. Apparently they can like go down into the town and do things and come back, and
it's a 15-minute city.
Yeah.
You guys hear about those? Apparently, it's happened more than once in France. In their prisons, like people have just flown helicopters in and straight up dropped ropes and like gotten people out. And this is like the last like 5 years, like this is happening. So they have like nets around some of the prisons so people can't do like aerial escapes. Like how crazy is that? They can't fix that.
How do they not have guard towers with machine? They don't have guard towers and machine guns.
I don't know. I just saw the articles. I read them. I was like, how is this possible? I was thinking like one guard with like a large gun is like okay. Like,
bunch of lazy Frenchmen probably just going,
Shaka bleu.
Just imagine the guards all have like the big Frenchman mustaches.
With muskets. It's hard to shoot down a helicopter with a musket.
Yeah.
Many people are escaping from
The bullet's not reaching.
Pink is just falling off of it.
We just shot it 3 times. We're not on the way.
Also, I was reading about this place where they make the iPhones, and
I've been throwing baguettes at it for 10 minutes.
tried to escape, and so they put up the net to stop them from jump to the death. The Sacre Bleu is brilliant.
Yeah. with the gas prices, how can they afford this?
He's earned this.
What do you do?
Oh my God!
What do you do,
guys? I gotta say, Gladiator 2, not that bad.
Oh yeah,
see it? Yeah,
no,
not that bad. I was surprised. Yeah,
Too.
Kind of interesting. Yeah. Not
I'm going to take that
one,
recommendation.
obviously.
I can see you going into it with poo poo face.
Yeah, I mean, I was mildly entertained. That was more than I expected to be.
Are you mildly entertained?
Yeah, right. That's pretty good, right? Yeah. Are you mildly entertained?
Are you not casually having your time pass?
Is this slightly better than dentistry?
I'm terrible. I don't get out to films other than like few and far between. My kids are still pretty little.
I watch this shit at home, dude. Who goes to the theater if they got kids?
Movies, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I still like the cinematic experience. Going to the movie theater, sticking a bunch of popcorn on my face, slurping my soda too loud, and telling the black people 3 rows behind me to shut up.
I can't stand it, man. No, the last couple times, well, I gotta say it's a little skewed, right? Because the last couple times I've been to movies, it's been like a kids movie, but like it sucks so bad. Like just sitting there and having people screaming the whole time, and like I'm trying to be a parent, and I get it, but at the same time, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't mind it just because my kids are the ones that are loudest. So if someone else is doing it, I'm like, thank God. Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yep. When somebody else's kid's behaving worse than mine, there's definitely a level of like, I'm getting it right.
Yeah. I mean, Moana 2, it's like kids movie, so kids are there. My son's like, it's Moana. I'm like, yes, Dorian, I see. Like, calm down. It's the girl. I'm like, shh.
I wouldn't have thought she was gonna be in this.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I can't believe she's still alive.
Right. My kids will just they blurt. They're blurters.
Yeah.
They get on the screen. We're watching Moana 2, and you're just like, they have skin. They have skin, and I'm like, imagine, just like in public, like people hearing the stuff that.
You think I can wear their skin, Papa?
Yeah, right. Get your gun and shoot him. Just the wildest stuff that they yell, and I'm just like,
look, Papa, they're brown. Do you want to hurt
caliber with him? You think he could take a 38 caliber to the head, Papa? You think Maui could survive a gunshot to the chest, Papa?
If you shot Maui with a 308, would his head explode and paint the wall?
He would ask that too.
I always have to like come up with some crazy answer too for it. Like,
hey, look, Bill Cosby was right. The kids do ask the darndest things.
They really do.
They say the darndest things.
Oh my bad. So, pardon me.
Only when they get to a certain age, right? When they're younger and they're just imitating you, like they're just like, "Can I breathe?" I'm like, oh, stop. Yes, of course you can breathe. You got to answer the dumb questions to get through to the really good stuff. We're like.
Well, I'm at the age right now where I know nothing. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm a complete idiot. There's nothing I can tell my child.
Man.
Nothing at all. Honey, the other day,
I just
honey,
to fish, honey, here.
Don't step in that snow. It's frozen. It's been there for 3 days. Don't step in it. Wham! She falls on the fucking ground and hurts herself. And I'm like,
well, she's learning. Right.
Yeah, but the whole time she's like, I know, and then she does it and then falls down, and it's like, well, that's what you get.
I can't wait. Well, I shouldn't say I can't wait, but I mean, I can't wait for my kids to be teenagers. I think it's gonna be like, it's just gonna be fun because I'm really good at like, yeah, you're not gonna listen to me, okay? You know better. Go all in.
Have fun. We got health insurance.
I'll be right here
for it,
dude. Children are nothing but a blood-eyed attack on my personal scheduling.
Right. It's true.
This is whatever I thought I was going to get up and accomplish today is going to be completely wiped the fuck out by whatever they want me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up.
You ever get that? You get up, you're like, I'm going to get so much done today. I got such a good attitude. I got this and this plan, and I'm going to do it, and then none of it gets accomplished.
Oh yeah.
I haven't felt that way in a while. I quit daring to for now. You just
get up in a sullen mood every day.
Tucked it away in a backpack, and I just let them I just lay in bed until they start fighting and screaming, and then I get out.
Yeah. Ours is gonna graduate.
And then just shuffle into the kitchen and yell.
That's pretty. High school, senior year, Brandon. That's gonna be a lot of drum, no matter what. Senior year, big year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got a high school senior in your house.
Yep.
You better put some pool noodles around that grand piano over there.
I told her, you can't touch that thing. You can't even play it. Don't even touch it. Don't even try.
Don't even look at it.
Don't even look at it.
Look, you can climb the fireplace. You can put your feet on the sofa. You touch my grand piano, cut your dick off, and feed it to you.
It is funny though how different just guys and girls are. You know, I got a 5-year-old boy, 4-year-old girl.
Right.
Son comes home from school. I'm like, "How was school?" He's like, I hate school. I want to go play video games." And I'm like, "Okay." Girl comes home from school. How was school? Hour explanation of all the drama conversations she had with all of her friends. Who hates who? Who did this? Who did that? And I'm just like, oh my god, I did not ask for that. Like she's like, at least 3-4 years ahead socially of my boys. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Girls live in a terrifying world. Well, I mean, they have to go out. They have to get out ahead of the little boys.
They run circles around them. It's nothing.
Dude, we've started up the Girl Scouts, man, and let me tell you what, a bunch of little 8-9-year-old girls running around is just something else. And so we had like a birthday party this past month for my daughter, and we had like 16 9-year-old girls in the house, like for a birthday party, screaming. And we were laughing so hard because they moved like a horde. They just went, and at one point we made like a rule that like everybody had to stay downstairs the whole time, right? Like, and so like we came upstairs and we were watching football on the big TV and whatnot. And like at one point, Rachel said she lost all control because they were just like, they wanted to play hide and seek and they wanted to do it upstairs. And she kept telling them no. And she said the whole group of girls just looked at her and go, "We don't have to listen to you." And then they just all ran off. And so we were all sitting up here, and it was like, it looked like pig pen running by, like the little shuffle of dirt that just goes by. It was just a shuffle of kids running by and running into every room in our upstairs trying to hide, and they're hiding, like kids are hiding under beds, kids are hiding in showers, and it was just a complete chaos moment. But like, I know my daughter probably had, an amazing time, and we'll always remember that. But this is the last time we'll ever had that many kids screaming around our house. That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
No, this is the very first time. This is the very first time we've not had a birthday party like somewhere, right? We always go somewhere and have it at like a place. So,
yeah.
But she wanted to have a tea party this year, so like we set up like a big giant like candy bar, like it's like a charcuterie, but just with like candy and all kind of like gummies and all kind of shit. And then we gave them like hot chocolate, and like my wife was giving the kids hot chocolate, and she had like little girls running over there going like, "My mom never lets me have any. Can I have another?" And then she was like, "Sure." And so they were all just completely jacked up on sugar.
So one of those birthday parties we had for our daughter at one of those places, right? So you know how a lot of George Lucas's characters in Star Wars are like overtly racist? There's like direct ripoffs of like, a race, and he got away with it somehow. And so there's the A-wing pilot from like Return of the Jedi, obviously supposed to look like an Asian alien, And so for Morgan's birthday, me and Deborah are always laughing about it, that Morgan kind of looks like the alien, right? And so for Morgan's birthday party, I put together a slideshow of my daughter, who obviously, my daughter's part Asian, my wife is. So like, it's going through the pictures, and then just the picture of the A-wing pilot from Star Wars pops up, and all the parents are looking at it. They're like, "Huh?" And then it goes to the next picture, and I'm like laughing at me, and Josh Stevens are laughing our ass off. Deborah's laughing, she's like, "It's funny." Anyways, Josh tells me later that some parents were like, "Oh yeah," talking to Deborah, "What was that picture? What's it called?" And Josh heard Deborah go, "Oh yeah, it's just a joke because the alien looks like Asian and my daughter's Asian, so we just threw it up there." Deborah thinks it's funny, and the parents are just like mortified, like, "What?" And I was like, "Deborah, like those jokes we make and stuff like that, like it's funny. Like, don't tell normal people about that stuff. Like they do not get it."
It's 2025. We need to bust back through.
I was like, honey, I love that you don't give a shit. You think it's funny too, but I'm like,
you can't tell the normies about this stuff.
Yeah, we're trolling them. I was trolling them, buddy.
They're never gonna understand.
So good. But yeah, kids are funny.
Dude, they are, man. They're hilarious. Like my kid tells me like random facts every day. Like she does the most random things. Like hey Dad, you know that redheads feel pain 30% more than regular people? I'm like, what? And then I go look it up, and I'm like, damn, she's right.
Well, me and Josh Stevens convinced my daughter that if you eat grain-fed beef, your hair is going to fall out. Only grass-fed.
Wow. She's gonna start. You be careful, man. She's gonna get a little bit older and start reading everything published by what's his name, RFK.
Yeah, you better watch out. She's gonna be in high school holding signs down at the courthouse about saving beef.
Yeah.
Man, my son asked me the most to date. He asked me the most amazing question that I wish he would have asked me in public. Maybe not. The other day he said, "What was God? How did he phrase it?" Because it just came out of nowhere. We were like having lunch, and he's like, "Was Michael Jackson's Winky black?"
What? How old is your son?
7.
How does he even know who Michael Jackson is?
Oh man, we got we expose him to all sorts of crazy stuff.
He's a cultured little child.
That's so awesome.
He's my kid, but he sees like he saw the back. He got a decent sized record collection, and on the back of the first time it ever started, he saw Axl Rose like on the back of the Appetite for Destruction record cover, and he was like, "I don't want to see that guy's belly button. Put that away."
Yeah,
and that was when he was like 4.
That's hilarious.
Classic.
Put that away.
Man, yeah, put that away. But yeah, I mean, he was kind of obsessed with Michael Jackson. We like went through one day, and he's like, because the song, we'll go through like different playlists, play a bunch of crazy music, and he was into this like early Jackson 5 stuff for a minute because we played the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, and there was a bunch of Jackson 5 stuff on there.
Yeah.
And so then we got on this whole thing about Michael Jackson, like over the course of months, man. And he was like so fascinated by all of it, and just like, who is this guy? I'm just like, he was the king of pop, Griffin, and he's dead now. He
would have liked you.
Yeah, he hung his child over he hung his child over a balcony.
Exactly. Yeah, and he sees like he's like, wait, what's that? And I'm like, yeah, that's the moonwalk. He was famous for that. That blew everybody's minds when he did that. He's like, can I do the moonwalk? I'm like, yeah. And he gets out on the floor and like realizes.
Funny enough, anyone can do it.
He's like realizes he doesn't know how to do it, and he's like, was he a magician?
Oh, if he liked the moonwalk, you got to show him the Smooth Criminal, the little lean. Yeah,
so many funny things. We showed him. It really blew his mind. We showed him the Black or White video where like they used
they shake their head and
wind
stuff.
morph to change like every 30 seconds.
Dude, that was so ahead of its time though.
Yeah,
like I can't imagine what they actually had to do then to be able to pull that off.
They wrote software for it.
Yeah.
Oh, did they really?
Was it wind morph?
It was image movers.
Elastic
but I mean, it would have to have been it would have to have been like a vector-based thing, right?
I think it was spline based.
Yeah, it was all
Spline
spline
based
based stuff. But they wrote the whole thing for it. Yeah, it was basically for that shit. Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah, essentially you could use. Well, it was free still in like 2004, 2005. I downloaded WinMorph and used it for a project back then. And it was very it made me think of it. I've just always remembered that one being a free thing. And
I remember like
shortly after that you could do it in Shake.
Animorphs.
Shake.
Yeah.
I am glad though in Nuke they allow you to shake things off like you used to. And
that's just recently though, right?
I know, it's so awesome though. I love that. I love that little addition. Makes me happy. I always forget it's there.
Yeah. Those are the
good old Shake.
Good old Shake.
Brian, have you fucked around with Nuke's motion graphic stuff yet?
Well, I looked into that, man. I looked into what you were talking about, and the only thing I can find was like articles on like this like third party thing that has come out. because like I can't find anything on any form of new motion graphics capabilities outside of what it currently has.
If they corner that market, After Effects is going to be dead in about 5 years.
And I completely agree with that. But like I couldn't find because when you told me about that, I went and looked for it, but I didn't really.
Yeah, no, it is a toolkit. It's just
it's
awesome.
a toolkit, yeah. But you buy the okay. It's like a third party toolkit. It is really cool. Yeah, no, it is cool. But
too bad Nuke is like fucking $5,000.
It seems to be it's just a shell kind of thing. So it's like nothing. Yeah. It doesn't do anything that you can't already do in Nuke, or doesn't expand its limitations at all.
Okay, so it's not like a big game changer.
No, it's no kind of game changer. It's more. It's good for if you don't know motion graphics very well and don't know After Effects, but you know Nuke. You probably could be successful using that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, Nuke is terrible. Nuke is terrible using After Effects because of the lack of timeline support, in my opinion. Like, it has a timeline, but it's not like an editing timeline like After Effects. You know what I mean? Like, After Effects whoops it in that regard. But
dude, After Effects stepped it up like 2 versions ago whenever they included the 740 renderer within After Effects.
Yeah.
So now you can do 3D text, 3D light, and do all that stuff within After Effects. You never have to go to Cinema 4D at all.
Yeah.
Fusion has a pretty nice timeline editor, though.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. Like if you know After Effects, and you do motion graphics, there's no other really comparable software.
Yeah, for how cheap it is, right? It's like fucking free money. Like, here you go.
Yeah, for the price point and what's available for it out there, if you want to rely on plugins or if you want to get down and dirty and write your own JavaScript.
At the end of the day, any motion graphics, I mean, not going to say any, but most motion graphics, even if you did it in Nuke, you're going to use an Adobe product at some point anyway, right? Like, you're going to use Photoshop or whatever, right? Like, or Illustrator, something. So it always just works out, the integration between
interoperability too, right?
Yeah, the integration between Illustrator and Photoshop and everything that goes with After Effects is just, and then like I said, whenever you can jump into Cinema 4D or even like Element 3D for After Effects is just so good to use. It's so easy to use.
Crazy.
And there's so many libraries for crap to be able to do that stuff, and it's just. And then when you need some kind of cool replication or some kind of like really heavy like motion graphicsy kind of stuff, like that background chaotic kind of crap, Cinema 4D just is. Even with the Cinema 4D Lite, you still have the ability to do all that stuff so easy. So it's which you can't do that stuff in Nuke. You just can't.
Well, there's some good plugins for motion graphics stuff out there for Unreal now too.
People
started using a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's great because you can iterate really quickly, even quicker than using After Effects for motion graphics.
That would be cool, where you can get almost the real time rendering and whatnot.
Yeah, so you can get I've done it a lot. And, when you get to actually rendering to render stuff out, it takes. It ends up taking just as long as traditional DCCs.
I just think that there's too many people, like, nobody's trying to go after Photoshop because Photoshop's king, right? Like, it's kind of like for what you use it for, After Effects is kind of king to do that. It kind of seems like a waste of your resources. There's enough other things wrong with Nuke that they could fix versus trying to fucking open up a path for motion graphics, right?
I just wish there's more fucking competition, honestly.
Yeah.
Because remember early 2000s, it was like there was combustion, smoke, flame, ember. You had Shape, you had Fusion, Inferno, Toxic.
They all did like the same thing too, and it was all owned by like the same. They were like small companies that got bought out and accumulated by Autodesk.
But they all had kind of different flavor of working, right? So
Inferno and Flame were the two like most frustrating to me because I was an Inferno artist, but Flame was the same thing as Inferno.
And so was Smoke.
It just didn't have... And Smoke. Yeah. You had Flame, Smoke, and Inferno. They were all on the same machine, right? But we used Inferno, and I guess... I never understood why you even needed Flame or Smoke. And and if you have Inferno, why do you even need the other ones? But it's because the projects didn't cross over.
Yeah. Well, and it was hardware specific, too. Wasn't it, for those things?
I don't know about that because on the machine that I worked on, it had all three.
Oh, okay. So
but I'm not real sure. But I was working on a machine where it was like downstairs was the mainframe and it was a whole rack of shit, right? And VTRs and all kind of stuff. So I don't know exactly what the setup was, right? Like exactly how many computers worked what.
It's an SGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photoshop's like I've been learning it last few months. It's fun, and I can see like a lot of the cool stuff in it. Like, click a button to remove background. Oh, that's fucking helpful. Like,
or extend images is my favorite new thing in the world.
It's got a lot of cool shit.
Yeah,
but I still can't for the life of me figure out like node based is just so superior to like layers. I just don't get it. It's just like take all this shit and give me a node graph, and you got the ultimate shit. Like, why? I
don't know. I tend to disagree since I'm a person that has a foot in both camps. Like, I genuinely believe that the complicated things are easier to do node based.
Yeah.
And the very simple stuff is easier to do layer based.
Well, so I wish here's my thing, man. I wish that there was like a Photoshop module for Nuke. I wish you could just be like, here, I want this thing, and I'm going to put the Photoshop node on it, and that's going to open up a separate interface for me to go do whatever I need to
layers
do in there,
and
have a few layers, do your layer breakouts, assign stuff in there, and then you can pull stuff and plug it out. Like the functionality for Photoshop files for Nuke is kind of crappy in my opinion.
It is.
It's okay, but it's just not. It's not as robust as it could be.
70% of the time, it works 40% of the time.
Yeah, it's shoehorned in to the point where I wrote an entire bit of code to export stuff out of Photoshop, and then it would pull it in Nuke and reassemble everything the way I wanted it.
That's cool
to work. You know what I mean? Because I was just like the breakout layers thing just sucked and stunk, and it was no good to me. And I'm doing stuff with 3D cameras and 3D setups anyway. So the Photoshop, you would work in a specific way and then run it out, export everything out, and it would export it along with a JSON file. You'd open up that JSON file in Nuke, and it would heuristically go in through your layer naming conventions and everything and set up camera projections for you, projection setups, cards, if you had it, geometry.
Dude, you need to sell that one.
I tried. Nobody wanted to buy it.
Your marketing sucked.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty cool.
The problem,
Layer Slayer. Yeah.
Layer Slayer.
That's what it is.
It was pretty badass.
The problem with it was that, hang on one second.
He's been summoned by the
I'm
Overlord.
actually writing a big giant tool set right now.
Oh yeah, like as we're talking, like we're that boring.
Yeah, just give me I just put a note in for it actually.
Give you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, Layer Slayer. The problem with it is that every time Adobe changed something, they didn't document it, and it would break because it was written with JavaScript. Right. So it's just like this. Shame on me.
Rewrite it with Python.
Shame on me for doing it. I guess I could. It was so involved, man. It just was like, but the biggest problem and the thing that took the wind out of my sails was doing it like in my own personal time. And then when Adobe would update something, it would completely break whatever I had in there. And it was random weird stuff, man. The most infuriating thing set me back like for like 2.5 months. It didn't work properly after an update to like CS8 or whatever the heck. CS12 maybe. If I had Photoshop, if I had my file open in tabs, right, it wouldn't work. So I had to check and randomly one day I was using it and I didn't have the tabbed windows. I had the windows broken out into floating windows and it worked. And I did it then. I was like, wait a minute, did I just catch it? And it put it in tabs, it broke the for loop. And so I had to write that in there. There was all sorts of weird hacky stuff in the code where I had to write in, check if you're in tabbed mode. And if you're not, break it out into its own window and then run the loop. So the whole code was full of weird, crazy gotcha stuff like that. And I had it modularized to every little tiny chunk of code was just this module function that I was pulling in all over the place. And it just got messy. Because I was chasing all the janky, weird crap that Adobe was doing. And then to do that and then to chase whatever Nuke was doing as well, I was like, this has just gone into full-time job mode.
Yeah, right.
Wow, yeah. I used to run the same problem with the breakout, and Nuke sucked. But I didn't do any of that crap. I would just color on top of it. Just add to the map painting.
Yeah. I was like, well, that was the thing too. Is it made it so that a setup, as long as you took a couple minutes in Photoshop and set everything up right, like I said, it would heuristically figure out everything the way you had it named. If you would include an underscore, you'd have the things the layer name underscore file number underscore overscan value underscore like there was asterisks and stuff in there. Like I had a whole little kind of a its own language going at one point.
Yeah, I remember you can even do you were showing me that the whole workflow down and working in 32-bit too.
Yeah.
Like, that was fucking impressive. At the time you showed me, that was no one could do that. Like,
you'd spit out a 32-bit linear. Well, that was kind of what gave birth to it initially. Is like there was no way to work getting a 32-bit linear image and round trip it back so that your matte painting you could use 8
your color get all fucked
sources and hand it back in 32-bit linear color space. And so that's what it did, is it pulled it out 32-bit linear color space and then transformed it into a simulated RGB so that you could do that and then load up your LUT to work in an approximate color space that comp was looking at and get it much closer. So the compers were like, okay, maybe I got to dial stuff by like the thousandth of a value. And it would do all that. So yeah, you would open the file starting with that, and it would convert it into 16-bit, and then on export it would convert it back to 32-bit and set it all up for you in Nuke. It was such a time saver. And it was wild because I remember when DD Vancouver, when they gave them the environment department, I was like, hey, just so you guys know, we've all been using this down here. And they're like, oh, no. We're going to write our own thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And then flailed for like the next 2 years.
That's such a fucking visual effects thing. It's like every fucking place I go to, they all think they have a better idea for a pipeline. They all think they have better tools than like say, for instance, if we're going to use shot grid or flow or whatever it is now, like a small studio, right? Like, oh, we're going to write our own tools. Like, why? Why? Just fucking get off the shelf pipeline tools that exist now and use those. Like, why are you trying to make it better? Like,
unless you're 400 people deep, you don't need to mess with it.
Here's the crazy thing too with pipeline stuff, man, is like these places. Every place that I've ever been wants to pipeline itself to death. And I, like being an artist who's been on both sides of that, straddled that wall. I gotta honestly say, man, it's not, in my mind, pipeline tools are not half. They don't earn their keep half as much as workflow tools.
Dude, I've worked on 30 different fucking pipelines in my career, and not one. I've gotten every goddamn project done. Right. Like every pipeline has been different. Yeah. None of them helped me accomplish my project.
No one say you got stolen valor here, Brian. You got it.
But I mean, there's like pipeline tools that are like, the things that take you 20 minutes to publish something because it's got to run through and check all this and that.
Yeah.
And that stuff is like so irritating. In my mind, isn't it worth it to have, like, if you're going to have like an asset system, you got a bunch of right-click contextual stuff in there that allows you to open things up and do things that you would need to do. Like, okay, I have right-click on this shot. Okay, prep my file for a turntable. Prep my file for textures. Prep my file for, for modeling. Whatever. Get me that stuff and get it ready. And do those checks and balances as workflows while you're working, rather than at publish time. So that when publish time comes through, you publish it and the checker goes zip. And it goes right through really quick, and it's a last line of defense instead of like, treating everything like you get it.
Or you know what? Hey, I got a better one for you. Hire quality artists so you don't have to fucking automate the QC.
Well, yeah, there's that too. There's that, but I mean, how many times, man?
That's the dream, Brian. That's the dream.
That's the problem, is you get stuff off of Turbo Squid and it's got a polybomb in there. This one little.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Fingernail's got 2 billion polygons in it. I don't know how that ended up there. Like, those kind of things are tough to find when somebody who quoted it was like, we'll get these assets and start from there and then have an artist clean them up. And then, you know what I mean? It's just never, it's a great thought, but in practice, it always.
It's usually, to me, they spend so much time on pipeline, but what really needs to happen is more operations.
Yeah.
There's more operations help in a lot of the studios that I've been, where it's like every single producer kind of does their own thing their own way, right? Mm-hmm. And so that usually doesn't lead to any kind of, especially when you're an artist and you're working with lots of different producers, everybody's doing something different. It's really hard to deal with, right? Like, it's different, and there's no consistency, and the pipeline doesn't really fix that.
Yeah. No.
Pipeline should be not seen.
Yeah.
Right.
It should
Right.
facilitate what needs to be done, and the tools on top of the pipeline integrated with the API or whatever just needs to be very simple.
Yeah.
And just work, right? It doesn't need to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem is people want to put their stink on shit. I'm going to build the best pipeline, blah, blah. It's like, no, the goal is to make it simple and work. That's all it is. Everyone, people are like, I want less clicks. This is 2 less clicks. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. If it breaks, I don't know how to fix it now. Yeah. Before, I knew how to fix it if it broke because it was simple. Right. It's like...
Well, it's like there's like parameters. There should just be like, round holes and square pegs.
Give me a Japanese car, not a German car. I just want it to run forever.
Make it something that's really, really simple, but allows the artists to do whatever it is that they do outside of it. And as long as they understand, for you to plug it back in to the pipeline, these are the main hooks that you have to link up to, right? Like that is so much easier. That is so much easier in my mind for artists to work that way, as opposed to being like, you have to use this thing to open up your file. You have to use this thing to go.
Well, the frustrating thing about Pipeline too is when they make all these changes, right? Like you get this once a month, you get this email that has all this bullshit in it that none of it at all pertains to you. And then 1 month, there's this one little line that would have pertained to you that's actually very important that you didn't see, right? Yeah. But then you show up on Monday and now something you usually do doesn't work at all, right? And you don't know why, and you ask IT and they go like, well, it was in the email. And it's like, well, why the fuck did y'all change it to begin with?
On a Friday, which is a big no-no. You never push deploy code on a Friday.
Oh, man.
But I mean, like even in the current studio, I mean, like they changed our pipeline just decided to change how we bring in a read node from alternate T to control R one day.
Yeah.
And it's like we've been working this way for 7-8 years, and all of a sudden you guys just changed it. That's cool. Fine. Y'all didn't tell anybody you did it. Yeah, there was like 4 or 5 days before I even realized that it had changed. I just thought something was broken, and I thought, okay, well, they'll fix it. They'll get it fixed, and it was just like, why even, but why? And they were like, well, Pipeline wanted it changed. And it's like,
well, fuck Pipeline, what they wanted. The artists need to dictate what needs to be
done. How did 300 artists that use this every day not have some kind of say-so in it?
Yeah, I remember when they changed our actual, our matte painting pipeline, and it was just kind of convoluted and shit. And I'm used to Catch will bang out 5 matte paintings and very quickly. It was confident, super fast, and they changed it. And they're like, Mark, why aren't you using it? I'm like, it's too fucking slow. Literally, Brandon's just sending me a file path to where his Photoshop file is. I'm grabbing it and dragging it. I don't got time for your shit. I don't. And it's like, oh, it's broken. Oh, the color's wrong. Do this. I'm not going to want to do that. I got the file there. I just dragging it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. If you can make it simpler than me dragging a fucking file over, then cool.
Yeah.
Right? Which you probably can't. So.
No. Pretty easy. Yeah. It's I spent the old days when, I would just, very early on, I would just name my own nuke scripts, make my own folders, check my work, so it all made sense and went to work.
Right. Yeah, that's part of the problem right now. That people come into the studios as juniors and they learn, they get all these automated systems, and then maybe they go somewhere else and that doesn't have those things, and they just have no idea how to work.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because it's just you didn't learn the right way to do it. You don't know how to QC. You don't know how to check and make sure your bounding box is cropped because it automatically does it for you. You know what I mean? You need to know how to do that. It makes you a more efficient artist.
You need to work in a small studio that's kind of starting up, right, for a few years to really be a good artist, I think.
To learn how it works, and then you can get all the fancy shit.
Right. Yeah, so you can troubleshoot stuff and be able to kind of problem solve on the fly, right? And that's because dude, we would hire people out of Disney and DreamWorks and big studios all the time when I was at Fuse, and every time I think I hired maybe 2 people out of there that worked out. The rest of them were just fucking dude, we get them on the box, and we had a good pipeline at Fuse, one of the best effects pipelines ever. And they would just be like, what? I have to do that. What? You don't have a tool to make this effect? No, dude, just make the effect. It's sparks. Right. We had a tool, Disney, for that. Well, dude, if you don't know how to make sparks, I'm sorry, dude, but you need to get the fuck out of this.
Why are you a VFX artist if you can't make sparks?
Yeah,
it's go to YouTube, just pull the video, just key it out.
Figure the fuck out. Yeah,
it's what? That's funny. Yeah, it's I saw, only at Crafty, and it was just like tiny, 4 people start out with, that grew. So like I had no idea the dummy proofing that goes on at these larger studios, and that's all it is. Yeah. It's just dummy proofing. Like not every time, but a lot of times we get these pipeline changes, and I'm like, okay, well why? Why does it make it better? And it's like, well, and I realize it's just to make it dummy proof. And I'm just like, man, like I get it, but I hate it. Like, can't we just have people that know what they're doing?
Like, why did we spend money to write that code?
Like, yeah, can't people just maybe, be able to think past step 1 and 2?
How much time is it saving us, really, versus the knowledge that we're giving the people?
Yeah,
to move on, right? Like, is it really worth that right now?
And I get it. If you got 1,000, 1,000 people and hundreds of shows, yeah, sure, but like, there's not that many companies that big. Like, we don't all need to try to replicate them.
Yeah, I think the biggest. I mean, so one thing is the biggest thing I found for Pipeline to program for is editorial. I started getting into editorial stuff. Holy shit, dude! What a nightmare!
I can see that, man, because like I can see the Pipeline being
fucking bizarre, just fucking world that is.
Time codes and EDLs,
but also their files are something completely fucking weird.
Yeah, so we used to do, like back in the early days, we would do a lot of our own color matching and comp. Like only a few compers did it, but we'd take it, I'll match it, do that color work, and we were good at it. But once we grew, we had to get the editorial in. And of course, I was like, okay, tell me why. And very valid explanation. They were like, Mark, like, it takes us so much time to parse through all this fucking shit. But if we set this up, we just get our little, our EDLs, and it's like, I'm like, okay, that does actually save a fuck ton of time. That's fair.
Once you're dealing with a certain volume, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise,
those are the days. Remember matching your own color, run through all the channels. Oh my god,
doing Tyler Perry driving comps.
Oh man, I've match graded 1,000 shots in Nuke. Very good at it. Useless skill set though. Outside of that,
completely useless now. Completely useless now. Yeah. But I will say, like, I pretty much between the CMYK color controls, I can dial in any goddamn color in the world. With those four controls, I swear. I don't know why people make it so complicated. I don't know why people make it so, people really, really overthink it when it comes to color.
Everyone wants to be smart, Brian. I'm just happy being dumb.
I know they don't call it fat, dumb, and
fat, dumb, and pregnant. Am I right?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Dumb and pregnant.
Those smart people aren't getting deals like this. The biggest truck stop in America.
Did you fix it?
Oh, it just comes in and out.
Okay. Well, you know what, Mark? This Brandon would have it on my desk right now.
You know what?
It would be proudly displayed on my desk.
This is coming your way on Monday. You just give me your address.
I'll give him I'll take
That'll be that needs to be
put it on my desk for sure.
Yeah, it needs to be a deep
fried
it
up a little bit for you. I'm gonna buff it up.
It needs to be a deep fried pixel staple. Make sure you glue that tail back on too.
It's cool. It's mechanical. It comes in and out. Come on.
It's a
See? Yeah, okay, I can't pull it out. This is terrible.
You're sodomizing
it. All right,
gentlemen, we're reaching the end of our time slot here. So
up next, it's been fun. We got Josh out in Florida wrestling Gators coming up down at midnight, and here.
I wish maybe we can get Josh Stevens on next week. Yeah, he's down in there in old Apopka. Apopka. I told him I don't understand why he's not working at Gatorland,
Josh,
man.
Dude, he's a fucking real live like Lorenzo Lamas.
There's no freer of a soul I've ever met.
He is the Florida man.
Yeah. He's carved his little niche of denim down there. Give Mr. Stevens a salute.
Stevens.
Till next time, gentlemen.
Yeah.